widgets, an app drawer, custom gestures. No, that's not Android. This is actually the latest version of Apple's iPhone operating system, iOS 14. Hello everyone, Vic here with PhoneArena, and we've been using the first iOS 14 developer beta for a couple of days now. And while there are a few bugs here and there, it's been surprisingly stable. So here is everything new that you should know about it. And we start with the one change that you will immediately notice on your home screen. Yes, widgets. iOS kind of supported widgets before in what it calls the Today screen on the left, but never on the actual home screen. So now you have three different possible sizes for widgets. You have a small widget that takes up the space of 4 regular icons. You have a medium sized that takes up 2 rows of icons, and you have a large one that takes up 4 rows of icons, or half your home screen if you're using something like my iPhone here. And you can also place those widgets in the Today panel as well. Now, to add a new widget, simply long press an icon to go to the wiggle mode. Edit screen and then tap on the plus button on the top left of the screen. And notice those super silky animations. No other company gets those tiny details so well polished, quite like Apple. Plus, you can also stack widgets one on top of the other and swipe between them very easily. And next, you have the app drawer, or in Apple parlance, the app library. It's located on the rightmost home screen panel, and if it takes you too many swipes to get to it, you can now long press the wiggle mode, tap the buttons key, and hide pages from the home screen so you get to it quicker. And again, take a look at the animations here. So smooth, so silky, and you can interrupt them halfway, and they're just so well done. Swipe down in the app library and you get to an alphabetical list of your apps, just like on many Android launchers. By the way, consider subscribing to our channel if you enjoy watching this to get the newest videos first. That's hugely appreciated. So the next big change is Siri, which now doesn't take up your whole screen, but instead appears in this cool circle at the bottom, and its answers come up as notifications rather than, again, taking up your full screen. It all makes sense and looks super dope. Siri is still not the smartest around, and it definitely doesn't compare to the Google Assistant. But you know what? You can now start the Google Assistant with a quick gesture too. Go into accessibility settings, and here you can set custom gestures like a double tap on the back of the phone to start the Google Assistant, or really do anything. Triple tap for a screenshot, for example, or double tap for notifications. This must be one of the coolest hidden features of iOS 14, but keep in mind, it doesn't quite work as fast as you might want. And then there is the visuals. 3 new wallpapers that look really dope and change with time, and you see one of those here. You have a bright version during the day and a dark one that doesn't strain the eyes at night. Also new is the Apple Translate app that is a formidable Google Translate alternative. We tried it with Spanish and it actually recognized our query easier than Google Translate and provided a more accurate translation. Now, of course, this needs far more in-depth testing than just a couple of phrases, but the app is definitely very capable. There are a few improvements under the hood too. The camera app now starts 25% faster. I cannot tell you the exact split-second advantage that iOS 14 gives it, but these are kinds of improvements that you do feel in real-life use. So what else is new? Calls, for example, now don't take up your whole screen and interrupt whatever you are doing. This is a change that has been long overdue, but we're glad it's finally here. So calls will now appear much like a notification drop-down, and the same look applies to both cellular calls as well as internet services like Skype, WhatsApp, and others. You also have picture-in-picture, which basically allows you to play a video on top of your screen while you still use your phone for something else, and it's super simple to use. While watching video, simply swipe up to go to the home screen and videos get minimized. That's as simple as it gets. You can also easily resize the thumbnail by pinching, and you can freely move it around. So here goes the million-dollar question. Does it work with YouTube? Well, the answer is no, at least not yet. But if you have YouTube Premium, there is a workaround. Simply open YouTube via Safari, play a video in full screen, and then swipe up to go home, and voila! It works. Now, a certain other hub website for videos would also work, but the way we learned about this is classified information, so don't share it. At the end of the day, not all apps that you would expect to support it do support it yet. Now, for example, Skype will not work with picture-in-picture, but FaceTime will and iTunes will. Now, it basically seems that everything that plays via Apple's native video player does support picture-in-picture right now. So that's about all major new features, but there is a bunch of smaller novelties, like that long-awaited option to search for an emoji instead of having to scroll through the whole list. Thank you, Apple, and finally, there is a bunch of new features in Apple Messages as well. You can mention someone in a group to get their attention even if the group is muted on that person's iPhone. You can get new icons for groups, you can pin a thread, and so on. I personally don't use Apple Messages, but if you do, it's a great update. You also have more ways to customize your Memoji, making it more personal with accessories and so on. In the US, you can now also see minute-by-minute forecast in the Weather app, a super cool feature coming from the recent Apple acquisition of weather app Dark Sky. You can now also set your default browser and mail apps to be different than Safari and the stock Apple Mail, so you can use Gmail or Chrome if you like. These would be your default browsers. Now, the option is not quite yet available in this beta, but it's coming to iOS 14. Also, AirPods. AirPods now work seamlessly across all Apple devices. You can listen to music on your MacBook, then receive a call on the iPhone, and the AirPods will seamlessly transition from music playback to your call without you having to do anything. Pretty magical. But you know what is the most impressive thing about iOS 14? Well, simple. It's the sheer reach of this update. The original iPhone SE and the iPhone 6s from 4 years ago are getting it. And not only getting it, but it's running smoothly on those phones. No Android phone comes even close to this kind of incredible software support, and that's a big part of the reason why iPhones retain their prices so well for so long. Now, at the end of the day, iOS 14 is a huge update that brings the biggest change to the way iOS looks in years. Now, it's also surprisingly stable, looks beautiful, and brings Android features that were honestly quite cool. We advise you to wait a little bit for the public beta that's coming out in July if you really want to try it on your main device before the big release in the fall, but for all else, yeah, iOS 14, it's awesome. And this will do it for this video. Thumbs up if you liked it, subs for more. My name is Vic, this is PhoneArena, and I'll see you around.